What you know about rolling down?
Now this is real music.
DJ Khaled. Khaled.
You have to think of this in terms of Khaled's verticals because this is another opportunity for him to build his personal brand at scale while continuing his networking, thus adding another piece to his revenue stream that he can use to leverage partnerships with brands and companies. It's also music, I think.
Royal Blood. Typhoons.
Music for car commercials.
Dodie. Build a Problem.
I've been a fan of Dodie for a while, both her YouTube presence and the EP she's put out, and I think that back catalog is why this debut album arrives so fully formed and sure of itself. Isn't it nice to talk about a YouTuber without having to bring up boxing matches, abusing staff, abusing fans, selling defective products, doing dumb pranks, racist tweets, shooting their boyfriend, pretending their girlfriend died for clout?
Julia Michaels. Not in chronological order.
Cool. Yeah, fine, sure, whatever. Good for her.
Weezer. Van Weezer.
You know, sonically, I was into it. I liked that they were going back to the harder rock they'd been doing on Everything Will Be Alright in the End and the White Album. And then Rivers just has to mess it up.
Girl in Red. If I Could Make It Go Quiet.
You know what this reminds me of? That new Amazon Prime show, Invincible. Yeah, you wanna know why? Because I'm not huge into either of them, but I feel like if I don't get on the hype train now, the next few years are gonna be really annoying for me.
Sufjan Stevens. Convocations.
So I've been getting more into meditation recently, and a lot of these new tracks by Sufjan make for excellent meditating or focus music. Now, does that mean that I recommend a 5-album, 2.5-hour long project to anyone outside of diehard Sufjan fans? No, not really. I think sometimes music doesn't have to blow your mind to be good. It can just fit nicely into the crevices of your life.
Czarface and Metalface. Super what?
While it's not really groundbreaking, just like how the first Czarface and Metalface record wasn't anything groundbreaking, man, it's also just nice to have more music from the late MF Doom out in the world.
Squid. Bright Green Field.
What is it with 2021 and acclaimed post-punk albums from European bands? That's not a knock against the Squid guys. I think they're certainly talented. It's just between them, Shame, Black Country New Road, and that upcoming Black Midi, I can't keep letting these British boys play with my heart.
Iceage. Seek Shelter.
Now the Danish, they're post-punk, and it's mixed by Sean Everett, who worked on all of these records that I like to some degree. Oh, I will take it any day of the week.
J. Cole. The Off-Season.
You know what the worst records for me to talk about are? The ones that just exist. This new J. Cole, for example. It's all right. J. Cole's a fine lyricist. The beats are what you'd expect from a project of his. The features don't feel tacked on. It is a perfectly acceptable album. And that's it.
Mdou Moctar. Afrique Victime.
It's the album of the year potential for me.
St. Vincent. Daddy's Home.
St. Vincent's last album didn't really hit me the same way that her early 2010s work did. Plus, the singles off this new one had me feeling pretty skeptical. So I'm very happy to say that this new one really surprised me. It reminds me of Bowie's Young Americans. It's a genre pastiche of the most flattering variety, but it also shows how much potential St. Vincent still has, even though she spent like a decade at this point making good on all of the potential she had previously showed. Also, purely on a musical level, I really want to see what her Station to Station would look like.
The Black Keys. Delta Kream.
Boy, this sure is music. There are sounds and lyrics, and they are mixed together and arranged into a package, and that package is an album, and it has a title. It has a title.
21 Pilots. Scaled and Icy.
The first half slaps so hard. The second half, just kind of okay by comparison, like a little, you know what I mean? But this one's more like...
Olivia Rodrigo. Sour.
Look, you can throw whatever criticisms you want at this thing, and it's definitely not a perfect album, but this also feels like the kind of record that today's youth will look back on in the same way that us millennials look back on Hot Fuss, Riot, Black Parade, Oracular Spectacular, Fearless, those like big soundtracks to our youth. To all you youngsters out there who are gonna experience your first real heartbreak with this album as the soundtrack, cheers to you. And at least it's not giant steps in the ocean.
What you know about rolling